I used to believe honesty could fix anything. That as long as you spoke the truth, no matter how painful, the weight would lift and love would somehow survive it. But that night, I learned that sometimes the truth doesn't free you at all. Sometimes it burns down everything you thought was stable. Liam and I had been together 6 years. We weren't flawless, but we were steady, the kind of couple people looked at and said, "You two were meant for each other." We shared a small house in the suburbs, matching coffee mugs, and a comfortable routine that felt gentle, maybe a little too gentle. I kept convincing myself comfort was enough, until the night I let that comfort slip right through my hands. It happened last winter after one of those long work conferences where the hotel bar feels warmer than your own bedroom. We were laughing, drinking too much, and there was this coworker, Evan, who looked at me like I was still 22 and interesting. I told myself it was harmless, just light flirting, something I could end anytime. I didn't end it. The next morning, guilt dug so deep into my chest it felt like I was sinking. I deleted the messages, blocked his number, swore it would never happen again. I promised myself Liam would never know. After all, what he didn't know couldn't hurt him, right? But guilt has a way of showing up in places you can't hide. Your voice, your eyes, your silence. Liam noticed. He noticed the way I pulled back, the hesitation in my hands, the way I suddenly went quiet for no reason. One night during dinner, he looked at me gently and said, "You're not really here lately. Should I be worried?" I smiled, lied, and told him I was just exhausted. He nodded, but I could see in his face he didn't buy it. That was 3 months ago. Every night since, the truth clawed at me like something alive and restless. And last Friday, it finally broke loose. We were sitting on the porch, the air thick with the smell of coming rain. He was scrolling through his phone, laughing at something online. For a minute, I almost convinced myself I could survive the lie. I almost let the moment pass. But then he looked up at me and said, "You know, no matter what, I trust you." Those words cracked something inside me. "Liam," I whispered, "there's something I need to tell you." He set his phone down slowly. "Okay." I couldn't look at him. I just started spilling the truth, fast, messy, like ripping off a bandage you know will take skin with it. I told him about the conference, the bar, the mistake, the silence afterward. Each sentence scraped its way out of me like broken glass. When I finished, the only sound was the rain. He didn't speak, didn't blink, just stared past me like he was trying to piece together the new reality he'd just been dropped into. After what felt like forever, he finally said, "Thank you for telling me. I wasn't expecting that." I broke down, told him I was sorry, that it meant nothing, that I'd hated myself every day since it happened. He nodded once, got up and walked inside. I followed him, begging him to say something, anything. He walked to the bedroom, opened the closet, and took out a small duffel bag. "You're not the first person to lie to me," he said quietly. "But you're the first one I truly believed wouldn't." The calmness in his voice hurt more than shouting ever could. "Where are you going?" I asked. He zipped the bag. "To my brother's. I need time to figure out if I can even look at you again." I reached for him, and he stepped back. His eyes were glossy, but steady. "You didn't just break trust," he said. "You killed the part of me that believed we were different." Then he walked out. The door shut softly, too soft, like the last breath of something dying. The house felt hollow after that. Every photo on the walls looked like an accusation. I sat on the floor replaying everything, wondering if keeping quiet would have been kinder. But deep down, I knew he deserved the truth, even if it shattered both of us. 2 days later, he texted, "I'm safe. Don't call. I'll reach out when I can." That was it. No anger. No goodbye. Just a cold, distant line that told me he was alive, but gone from me in every other way. My friends said I did the right thing. That truth is cleansing. But they don't see his untouched toothbrush sitting next to mine. They don't hear the silence where his keys used to jingle in the hallway. The truth doesn't cleanse. It lingers. It haunts. A week passed before I saw him again. He came to gather the rest of his things. I had pictured that moment 1,000 times. Tears, apologies, maybe even forgiveness. But when he walked in, he looked calm, different, like someone who had already let go. "Is there anything left to say?" I asked. He paused at the door, hand on the knob. "I loved you enough to never question you," he said softly. "Now I'm going to love myself enough to leave." Then he walked out. I stood there surrounded by the quiet remains of our life, realizing that honesty isn't always noble. Sometimes it's just necessary punishment. I told myself the truth would free me from guilt. Instead, it freed him from me. Every morning now, I wake up in a bed that feels twice as big. The coffee tastes bitter. The silence sits heavy, but it's real. And maybe that's the cruelest part. The truth doesn't set you free. It just leaves you alone with whatever's left.